take the chance to listen to audio drama adaptations of comic books. Welcome to Geeks Through Comics, a YouTube channel dedicated to adapting comic books into audio dramas for you to listen to. We are the little brother YouTube channel to the Nerds Through Comics podcast, ran by Mark the Cornish Ranger. I am your host, Ty Tiger, and here we plan on adapting your favourite comic books, or possibly comic books you've never even heard of. So, of course, subscribe to the Geeks Through Comics YouTube channel, and make sure you check out Nerds Through Comics, where you'll find our adaptations, and whilst you check out the Nerds Through Comics podcast, whilst listening to our adaptations, make sure you check out the wonderful work done by Mark himself. That being said, let's dive in to Geeks Through Comics.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rangers in space!
Controls to outer space now, flying higher than ever before. Rangers.
Geeks Through Comics presents Power Rangers Unlimited, Countdown to Ruin.
In space!
On KO-35, the name Andros was called out, as the in-space Red Ranger stood over the in-space Silver Ranger.
You called my name. With the last word you ever spoke, you called my name. I'd lost so much, I never imagined I still had more to lose.
KO-35, 13 years ago. Andros! Corone screamed out as a mysterious monster kidnapped her and dragged her into a portal. Corone! Andros screamed as the young lad laid on the ground helpless. As the portal closed, Andros climbed to his feet and ran off, running through the bushes. No! Mother! Father! Zane! Andros screamed. Andros stopped in front of the horror that was his home burning to the ground. Suddenly, Andros heard his name being called. He turned around to see his young friend Zane running up to him. Zane, Andros muttered in disbelief. The two boys hugged each other. We found you, Zane sighed. We? Andros questioned. The Power Rangers are here, Zane stated. Then the in-space Rangers could be seen fighting and saving people. The Black Ranger moved a boulder off a young girl. Rangers, spread out. First priority is the civilians. The Red Ranger barked as he threw a heavy punch into a foot soldier. The Blue Ranger jumped up and swung her foot into a foot soldier, knocking it over. Zane and Andros ran up to the Rangers as the Pink Ranger used a spark of pink energy to heal the girl that the Black Ranger had saved. Boys, are you hurt? My Daza is a healer, the Blue Ranger asked them. No, we're not hurt, Zane responded. Where are your families? The Blue Ranger asked, moving her helmet, revealing a dark-skinned woman with black flowing hair. She knelt down to their level. I was already an orphan before the attack, Zane explained. I guess now I'm an orphan too, Andros muttered. The Pink Ranger also removed her helmet and placed her hand on the Blue Ranger's shoulder. Marvy, do you think... Daza asked. Let's get you both somewhere safe, Marvy said, looking up at Daza. They took the boys by hand and led them to the Astro megaship.
You're always different, though. You never seem to dwell on the bad things. You're always so much better at seeing how to fight for the good. We didn't have a home to return to. So, Marvy and Daza built one. For all of us. The Astro Megaship was how the Power Rangers traveled to help people. But it became our home. And sometimes it felt like the only place I could still find love in the galaxy. Marvy and Daza's marriage. Edai, Naruto's sibling rivalry. Kali and Yizu as the truest friends. This felt like the only place where peace and happiness could still be found. In good times and bad, it was our little home. Marvy kept us strong with the law of the Power Rangers, tales of their services and kindness to the many, not just a few. You fitted right in, Zane. You were the one who made them laugh, and shared everything you had, and gave them with an open heart. The one who never broke a promise, never left your post, but I can let go of the past. You were always so patient with me, even when I was being stubborn.
Andros and Zane laid under a blanket. A hollow projector sat there projecting a set of stars and their constellations. But that doesn't prove that safe haven existed. We heard the story so many times, a young Andros muttered. So we'll listen to it 101 times. We must have missed something, Zane said. They recalled when Marvy told them the story whilst they were pillow fighting. In the legend of the Golden Megamorpha, which is said to have the power to revive the dead. My goodness, what is the point of telling you guys bedtime stories if you're loud enough to wake the dead on your own? Marvy moaned. Andros' memories flashed before him. Zane sat on his knees on the grass, tears streamed down his face as he dropped onto the ground. Andros was knelt beside him, his hand on his brother's shoulder.
And the only time I felt I could help you was when the past came for you too.
I just miss my mum and dad. I wish, Zane cried out. Andros and Zane played video games and winning with a high score. Yes, Andros, enemies defeated, Zane cheered. Everyone was rescued from the bad guys. Andros cheered, both the boys double high-fiving each other.
And I wish I could have thanked you then for everything.
Zane and Andros stood before a collection of wood piled on top of an old toy. What is this? Zane asked. It's the toy Crone and I were playing with when she got taken, Andros explained. Are you planning to burn it? Zane asked, confused. It doesn't deserve to be here when she's not, Andros said sadly, as they watched the toy burn. Zane and Andros stood before the two women that raised them, and they said their goodbyes.
And then, when I realized I'd never find Crone if I stayed, you came with me.
You will do so much for many, but this will always be your home, and we will always be here for you, both women told the boys. Both the boys looked up at the Syndicate building with wonder in their eyes.
So we joined the Planetary Defense Syndicate.
As they grew up, they trained hard and learned as much as they could, using the resources given to them.
We learned to be warriors together. The Syndicate gave us access, resources, and skills. You never wavered in our studies, because the more you learned, the more you could help people. Me? All I wanted was to find some hint of who or what had happened to Crone.
When the boys graduated, they headed back to their adoptive home in a small ship. When they landed, they noticed a group of people stood next to the Astro Megaship. What happened to the Astro Megaship? There is some kind of party going on down there? Zane questioned.
When we graduated, you were so excited to return home and share everything you had learned with Marvy and Daza. But we didn't realize Marvy and Daza had something to share with us in return.
The duo walked through the cheering crowd, everyone pleased to see them and cheering for their success in graduating, their adoptive siblings embracing them with joy and care. Marvy and Daza stood before them, morphed, but without their helmets on, their arms around each other. Our time as Power Rangers dedicated to help and protect our people has come to an end, Daza told them. We will act as mentors to the new generation and choose the most worthy to replace us, Daza continued. Beginning with Zane, Marvy cheered. Zane stood with the two women waving and cheering with the crowd. He was presented with an astromorpher. Today I put aside what came before. Today I become, Zane said as he morphed for the very first time, the Silver Ranger! He cried out, taking a pose. Everyone cheered. Andrew stood there clapping with his face solemn. The Silver Ranger removed his helmet. I know who must be next among us. There is one other I want by my side. Andros, Zane cheered, holding out his hand. Andros looked shocked. Then he looked down to the ground. I can't, Andros muttered. Then he turned away from Zane and pushed through the crowd as he left. Andros, Zane muttered, sadness dawning his face. Zane chased after Andros into a forestry area. Andros, wait, what's wrong? Zane called out. Andros stopped and caught his breath. How could you, Zane? How could you? Andros snapped. We've finished the planetary defense training. Imagine what we could do as Power Rangers. Isn't this what we wanted? Zane asked. Zane, everything Mother ever gave us to be Power Rangers is to act for the good of the many, to put away selfish wants, Andros stated. And you'd be incredible at it. There is no one as daring and brave as driven as you, Zane butted in. I know you can feel it inside of you, the power, the potential, the strength to be so much more. Don't deny who you are, how happy and how complete you can become, Zane told him, taking a step closer to his best friend. If I become a Power Ranger, I would live and die for our people, but I'd have to forget Corone. Andros snapped, pulling away from Zane. No, Andros, no one is saying that, Zane said with concern in his voice. Would a Power Ranger run away from his planet the first chance he got, leave his people vulnerable so he could find his missing sister? Maybe you can forget her, go off with your new Technicolor teammate and rescue space cats from space trees, but I will never abandon her, Andros grunted. Zane stood there, shocked. He rubbed the back of his neck. It's been 10 years. I thought we'd find some clue. Some hint? Zane muttered. She was my family, and she's gone and I have nothing! Andros roared. Nothing? Zane questioned with horror on his face. Andros walked past Zane. No, I mean, Zane, I've lost, Andros muttered, but Zane grabbed his arm. What have you lost that I haven't? You got to fight like hell to save your sister. My parents died to make sure the Rangers couldn't have me, and there's nothing I could do. As Rangers, we have a chance to act, Zane told him. You don't understand. You don't have a family left, Andros barked. He then pulled his arm free from Zane's grip and stormed off. Zane's eyes filled with tears. Oh, Andros, I thought you were my family, Zane muttered to himself as he stood there all alone.
In the few weeks that followed, you found the people you always meant to find.
Marvy and Daza watched as Zane sat there with his new team of Rangers, as they all tucked into a meal and discussed their latest endeavors. Idai, Naro, Kali, and Nizu had been chosen to be the pink, yellow, black, and blue Rangers. Zane looked over to the empty chair. The chair meant for Andros. A look of sorrow dawned him.
Marvy, Daza, Idai, and Naro, Kali, and Nizu. You had so many names to keep you grounded, but you never gave up on me.
Both Andros and Zane continued their journeys. Andros trained and researched. Zane was a Power Ranger fighting the good fight.
Yet, without you there to tie me to the future, I gave myself up to the past. Because for me, it was always Corone. Corone. Corone.
Andros stood there holding onto his pendant, which had a picture of him and Corone. He held it close. I can feel you out there. I know you're still alive. Still with me, Andros muttered. Andros! A voice behind him called out. He turned around to see a morphed Zane without his helmet. Andros' eyes widened with shock. Zane? Andros questioned. There has been a distress signal calling for the Power Rangers. A monster is stealing their children, Zane told Andros, holding his hands up in surrender. Both of them ran towards the Astro megaship and broke into it. They ran towards the small shuttle and climbed in, and then flew away.
For the first time, you made the selfish play out of care for me. You were the one to abandon your post, your planet, to help me on a mission that did nothing for KO-35, but put it in the path of danger. You forgave me, even though I never asked for that forgiveness. I should have. You put life back into the trial that went cold 11 years ago. The quest for Corone, the quest for that monster, the quest for revenge.
They flew down to the ground and landed the ship. They walked out into the rain. Fire swarmed around them, civilians running away screaming. The monster stood there commanding his foot soldiers.
Go, my minions! In the name of Dark Spectre, Dakonda commands you!
The monster roared. Andros ran at Dakonda, knife in hand. Dakonda! Andros screamed.
Ooh, a little saboteur, here to save the spineless sea slugs.
Dakonda sneered. Dakonda swung a fist and punched Andros in the face, knocking him to the ground. The Silver Ranger stood there as the scared civilians ran past him. Run towards the ship! We can evacuate you somewhere safe! Come on! He called out, pointing them the direction of their shuttle. He turned to see Andros on the ground. Andros! He called out. Dakonda stood over Andros. Andros looked up at Dakonda, rage fueling him. Where's my sister? Andros grunted.
There is nothing safe from Dark Spectre, not even in your own minds. Barlillian Venom, let me see the evil in you. The worst of you.
Dakonda growled, presenting a small red bug with white wings. It flew over and bit Andros. Andros clenched his throat as the darkness surrounded him. He dropped to his knees.
Oh, Andros, do you want to know where your sister is?
Dakonda's voice echoed in the darkness. Tell me! Andros muttered.
Your baby sister is gone. Astronomer, heir of Dark Spectre himself, cut her down like a cannon fodder she was.
Dakonda hissed. No! Andros yelled out.
You will never hear her laugh again. You will never gain forgiveness for how you failed her that day.
Dakonda chuckled. You'll pay for this. I will destroy... Andros choked.
Oh, Andros, no. You won't. You won't even remember me at all. As the venom drains from your system, it will erase all of this. Everything you learned today of me, my master, our plans, and your sister's fate. You might not even remember that you drew our eyes upon your planet. You'll just feel it deep in your rotten heart, just as you feel your sister still out there.
Dakonda sneered. Never! Andros cried out.
Just know, when my master and I come to your little planet and crack it open like a skull to scrape the marrow from within, it'll be your fault too. All of this will be because of you.
Dakonda laughed. Suddenly, from beyond the dark void that had casted over Andros' mind, a voice called out to him. Andros! The Silver Space Ranger cut through the dark void. Enough! He barked.
I had been so close to those that had taken Corone, but the poison was already doing its work. His name was already slipping from my memory.
Are you alright? Were you stung? Here, bug venom antidote. Does make sure I never left home without it, the Silver Ranger said, injecting Andros with the antidote. What's his name? He's getting away, Andros muttered. The Silver Ranger knelt down and presented Andros with something. Take this, he said. The red morpher? Andros muttered as he stared at the morpher in his hand. I'll get the civilians to safety. Go find your sister, the Silver Ranger barked as he started running towards the ship. Andros saw Daconda getting away. He stood up. Get back here, he roared. He clenched onto his dagger and started fighting off the foot soldiers, slashing them down. Andros looked up to see Daconda getting away in his ship.
Too late, little slug man!
Daconda roared.
If I didn't do this now, I knew I might not get another chance. That monster was getting away. But the others were coming after you. In that moment, I was lost. But there, in the rubble of another village worlds away, a child's toy. Like Corone, the monster I have hunted, or the man who has followed me on this quest, I could only choose one of them.
Andros looked down, and on the ground was a toy, an expendable ball. He picked it up, and he threw his arm back. Zane, take the ship down now, Andros ordered. He threw the toy at the thrusters of the ship. Everybody hunker down, he roared. As the ball flew into the thruster, it expanded. There was an explosion.
For the many. For you, Zane.
Andros leapt into the air and strapped on his morpher. It's morphing time! He yelled out. His red ranger suit wrapped around him, and he morphed into the red in-space ranger. The Silver Ranger hung out of his ship, holding his hand out. Both rangers grabbed onto each other. Hey, are you alright? The Silver Ranger asked. I did. You see, who was that? The Red Ranger asked back as he pulled himself up. They both removed their helmets. I was so busy trying to get everyone to safety that I didn't. I'm sorry, Andros. I know how important this was for you to find your sister. Zane sighed. Corone is not my only family. The ones I love are still here. Thank you, Zane, Andros said. He placed his forehead against Zane's with a grin on his face.
For everything. We became invincible. Until Dark Spectre invaded at last.
Sometime later, the new team of in-space rangers fought Dark Spectre, his lackey Daconda, and their foot soldiers.
We all, one by one, were captured, vanished, were killed. You took that final blow that was meant for me.
The Red Ranger watched in horror as a monster slashed his sword, striking down the Silver Ranger. Andros stood there, in his ranger suit, his helmet off, his hair dangling in a mess, his face filled with pain as he stood over Zane in a stasis pod. The room destroyed. Whether it was by Andros or an intruder was unknown.
This is all my fault. How much more can I lose, Zane? How much is even left of me to lose?
Suddenly, a distress call came from the ship's communicator. Help! If anyone's listening, if there's any Power Rangers left, we're under siege by the Zurichs.
At least one thing I hadn't lost was my will to fight.
Andros pulled a lever on the console, and the ship left. He ran out with his helmet on. He turned to see the ship taking off, leaving the planet. His helmet dematerialized. No, not again, Zane! He shouted.
So they took that away from me too. And then it came. A call.
To To all those who hear these words, you are not alone.
A call like the first. You, crying out my name, asking me to come with you, to join your little found family. Like you, naming me before the village, shouting aloud for all to hear that I was worthy, that I was wanted. Like you, calling my name in the ruins that night that we found our first clue in Carone's whereabouts in more than 10 years. Like you, calling in my name in battle the moment before you fell. Your last words were my name. And this call, I hear now from a distant Red Ranger on a distant planet, reminds me so much of your voice. It sounds like help at last.
On the ruins of KO-35, Andrew stood in a red robe, his face hidden by its hood. He stood alone. The moon shone over him as he remembered himself and Zane as children.
It sounds like welcome home.